Welcome to the Starzology Astrology podcast. I'm your host, Arwynne O'Neill, and today I am here with my friend Katia.
Thanks for including me, Arwynne.
Thanks for coming. This is one of our Aspect Basics series, and today we're going to be talking about Jupiter trine Pluto. And this is a big transit because Jupiter is huge. It's the big benefic in the solar system, and Pluto, anything that it does, is significant and important. This only happens once every about 8 years, maybe 8 to 10 years, because Pluto takes like a really long time to go around the zodiac, 248 years, but it's got an elliptical orbit. So when it comes into contact with any planet, really, it's important that Jupiter takes a year to spend in each sign and then 12 years to go all the way around the zodiac. And Jupiter just entered Gemini, so we're talking in 2024 right now, but this is super interesting regardless of when you're coming back to listen to it. And we're going to be mostly focusing on what this aspect looks like in someone's chart versus as a transit. But we will talk a bit about what happens when you have a Jupiter-Pluto trine transit in your chart as well. If you wanted to go back and see what was going on in October of 2015, March and June of 2016, those were the last times when this aspect was exact.
Anything notable that we can expect now?
Well, I mean, it's really a great transit, actually, even though Pluto is the planet of death and transformation and rebirth and all that stuff. It's the creative destruction, sort of.
Okay.
Jupiter is the great benefic of the solar system. It expands everything that it touches. And when it's in a trine aspect, of course, the trine is one of the soft aspects, the other being the sextile. And trines are flowing aspects that occur between signs in the same element. So in this case, it's air, and Gemini is where Jupiter just entered. It's at 1 degree of Gemini right now, and Pluto just entered Aquarius. So this aspect will be exact on June 2nd, 2024. We are going to be talking mostly what it looks like in someone's chart. But if you're listening in 2024, it is interesting to note that these planets are now both in air signs, and they will be for the next year. And of course, Aquarius, Pluto will be in Aquarius until 2046, with a brief sojourn back into Capricorn in the middle of the year. It'll go back it'll retrograde into Capricorn through September, from September through November, and right in time for the American election, which is kind of ominous, but we'll be talking about more of that as we get closer to that. So for now, we can talk about what Jupiter trine Pluto looks like.
And are we talking like massive change and like a lot of craziness? I don't know. What are we expecting?
It certainly can be. I mean, It's a really good change though, and it's an opportunity. Like if you can take advantage of this as a transit that is occurring to you, like if you have anything at 1 degree of Gemini, or for that matter 1 degree of Aquarius, this is really going to affect you more. So that's really interesting to take a look at. Like if you have any planets actually anywhere in the first few degrees of Gemini, that's really an interesting way that this is going to affect you, because Jupiter is going to be going over your sun. If you have the sun in Gemini, for example, if you have Gemini rising, Jupiter will be conjunct your rising, and it will be traveling through your first house, which is a great placement. It brings all kinds of light and focus on your personality, gives you great opportunities for growth and expansion in your personal life and your image and how you present yourself to the world, which is fascinating. And then having that trine to Pluto is going to be just supercharging that. So if you are entering any kind of leadership role, or if you want to take a more leadership position in anywhere in your life, any aspect of your life, just look at where Gemini is in your chart, and you'll see where that is going to be receiving that wonderful trine from Pluto.
As in, like, what time or when? Or...
Well, what degree? So you want to look at your chart and see, like, the actual degree that the planet is in Gemini. Okay. So if you are a Gemini, maybe your sun would be at like 5 degrees Gemini, and you want to like note, so when Jupiter is at 5 degrees Gemini, that's going to be exact. And the trine to Pluto won't be exact anymore at that point, because Pluto moves so much more slowly. But it'll be, I mean, I would definitely say that if it's a conjunction, you can feel that from like up to maybe 8 degrees away, which would be like a few weeks for sure.
Yeah. And for noobs to this whole topic, how can we find, so say I'm a Gemini, which I'm not, but say I am, how can I tell
where all that stuff is? Okay, so obviously, we like to say consult your astrologer, but the easiest way is just go to astro.com and put in your your date of birth and your time of birth and your place of birth, and you'll get the picture, the whole chart, and it'll give you all kinds of wonderful information.
Oh, that's wonderful to get to know yourself a little bit more, to understand the world around you.
What I like about astro.com also, just not to, I'm not getting paid by them or anything, but
you should.
Really,
if you're listening.
Right? They do daily horoscopes like all the other sites do, but they really take into account your entire chart. So when you see your daily horoscope from them, it's not just like, here's what's happening for a Taurus for today.
Yeah.
It's taking into account your rising sign, your Venus, all of this stuff, and it's taking the most important things that are exact that day. And it'll even tell you sometimes there are no exact aspects today, so you have a free day to do whatever you want.
Oh, that's nice.
That's rarely, but sometimes it does that.
How often does that happen?
Not much.
Oh,
a couple times a year, maybe I'll go and I'll be like, oh, it's a free day, whatever.
Yeah.
But usually it's like, oh, Jupiter's doing this to you, and it's specific to you. Like I have almost 100 people that I've put. Some of them are celebrities, and past.
Like, my goodness, you're popular.
I know. I've got everyone from like great grandparents to like Kurt Cobain and people like that. But what you can do is you can just kind of glance around at their chart for the day, and almost never do you see the same horoscope for two people in one day.
So it's like truly bespoke.
It's truly yes, exactly. So that's what I like about it. Yeah. And you can also get the same thing if you have astrology software. If you are an aspiring astrologer, obviously Alison Price would recommend Solar Fire. Mm-hmm. I love Janus. That's one of my favorite astrology software suites. Unfortunately, it is not available for Mac, so I haven't been able to use it as much lately as I would like to. I complain about that a lot. Janus, if you're listening,
please help a girl out.
Help a girl out. Help a newly Mac girl out.
So Jupiter trine Pluto.
Yeah.
So mission in life is helping others.
Ideally,
through big ideas. Like what are we talking about?
There is a real so Pluto. Anytime there's a Pluto aspect in your chart, that's a close aspect. Mm-hmm. There is a desire for power, and there is the need to harness your desire for power correctly. Okay. So this can be a good thing or a bad thing, because Pluto is never just a light, fluffy whatever. Even when it's a trine, you want to be careful about how it manifests in your chart.
Like it's serious?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that death, like rebirth and transformation, doesn't get much more serious than Pluto.
Okay.
But Jupiter is about as pleasant as it gets as far as planets go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly. So especially when it's in air, I'm thinking that the opportunities are really boundless for transformation in a good way, mm-hmm. for something to do with intellect, with innovation, with communication, with your community, with being outgoing and curious, and with using all those in a leadership or a dynamic, transformative way that can bring others along with you. Because Jupiter really is about leadership and communication, and sort of like forging your way in the world in a wonderful, sort of positive, expansive way.
But how can you, stop yourself or check yourself when, so you don't get swept away by this energy? Because it sounds quite serious. Yes, there's a softness with Jupiter there, but how do we tone it down so it's not, you're like, oh, it just kind of slipped away and now I'm this evil mastermind?
Yeah, there are a couple of examples, which we'll get to later in our celebrity charts, because it is one of those things where, like, you kind of go to the bad examples, like, whoa, okay, that's dark, that went dark really fast.
Yeah, like, I want to be less about, like, plotting in a dark corner and more like strategizing over mimosas,
Exactly, yeah. And with any luck, the person with Jupiter trine Pluto is going to be a little bit less likely to be plotting the demise of anybody, and more likely to be seeking profound transformation and using their powers of persuasion for good. Mm-hmm. So if it was a square, if it was Jupiter square Pluto, that might be a little bit different. But still, Jupiter is a really positive influence.
Oh, nice.
And so it might be something where this person is going to be powerful. It's just a matter of what realm they choose to focus in. Mm-hmm. And that's just going to be up to their personality and what other things are in their chart and what kind of a childhood they had.
Oh, I see.
Of course.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the trine, let's just talk about the trine, for example. Mm-hmm. It creates positive movement because it's a flowing movement, or the flowing aspect. Mm-hmm. And between the two positive aspects, we have the trine and the sextile. And the trine is the more flowing and easy kind of thing, and the sextile is more of an exciting kind of coming together, because the sextile is like, it's like Taurus and Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, they're agreeable, but they're not in the same element. So Taurus is an earth sign and Cancer is a water sign. They get along really well, but they're not the same element. And in a trine, they are the same element. So they're both air signs, or they're both, in that example we just used, they would both be earth signs. You and I'm a Virgo, you're a Taurus. Those are trine to each other. So we have this we have very similar outlooks on a lot of things. We have this easygoing, flowing communication style.
Love it.
When we bike together, we don't crash into each other.
Yeah.
We're just like right next to each other, or one behind the other.
And thanks for explaining it so simply to to a noob like me, because that truly makes sense. Because sometimes you're like, I really respect this person, but it just doesn't feel like it gets
flow.
Yeah, it just doesn't flow.
Yeah.
If there's some awkwardness and you can't quite pinpoint it, and I didn't.
And
really
that can be an exciting thing. Like if it's a sextile, sometimes it's someone who you don't quite have all the same things in common with, like me and my partner, for example.
Yeah.
He is a Scorpio, I'm a Virgo, and so it's a water sign versus an earth sign, and those get along really well, but we don't have all the same interests, and the things that we don't have in common, they make us more interested in each other. Like we're like, ooh, you like this? Oh, weird. They're like compatible, right? But not the same.
Yeah.
And I have a couple, like including you, a couple of my very best friends are Taurus.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. Where you just, we know what we want to eat. We know what we want to do. You're like, you can say at the last minute, oh, hey, we're going for a bike ride. Do you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Or, like today we're recording, is, 1 o'clock still okay for you? Hey, you want to come down to my office? Sure. No problem.
Yeah.
And I schlep all my stuff into the office, and then we're setting up the office together, and it's all just flowing. It's not awkward and weird, but it's easy.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So that's a trine.
Yeah. So with Jupiter trine Pluto, I guess there's this vision and drive to implement something bold, but with the idea of like you're trying to improve the world.
Absolutely.
Like you're trying to better the society that we're living in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So when these two planets come together, especially in a positive aspect, they come together to create a very exciting, powerful, dynamic potential for positive change.
I like that.
Yeah, and some of the keywords are aspects for growth, improvement, healing, perception, the ability to understand profound or complicated issues, especially to do with the law or spirituality even, or education. Jupiter rules publications. So it could be something to do with broadly communicating to the world in some way, and the ability to plan and organize to pursue success and growth on a large scale. Like someone could be like a city planner or some kind of a politician. Maybe not even a politician in the public speaker kind of sense, although that could be the case too. But someone who really wants to be part of the plan, part of the growth and the leadership potential of like really leading the charge and bringing others along with you.
Teaching can be quite rewarding paths.
Totally. Yeah, I would definitely say so. And these people can have a profound impact wherever they choose to set their sights. So if they have this aspect in their chart, especially if it's a tight aspect, this can be an excellent person to have them explore what they are interested in and where they can have the biggest impact in the world, because they really can have a great influence, whatever they choose to do.
Okay, just don't forget the little folks when you're running the world from your space yacht.
Exactly. They can also be great, excellent researchers and investigators, because Pluto creates that desire to dig into things. It's like that. It rules Scorpio, so it's that sort of investigator and
like
the researcher, detail-oriented. Jupiter really. It might make it a little less detail-oriented because it's such an expansive thing. But I mean, they could also be the kind of person who then. I'm thinking of those wonderful documentaries where you see somebody putting together like an amazing like skeleton of like a whale or of a dinosaur that they've found, and manning this entire project to unearth something and investigate it and then bring it to light and display it for everybody so that everybody can learn from it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I like that. That's really creative.
Or even like a NASA thing where they're putting together an exploration which is going to be a massive undertaking and a lot of moving parts, and they're going to just bring back reams and reams of data, and it's going to be useful for like future generations. And that is something that this aspect would be great at. They're determined to get to the bottom of any issue, and they can become obsessed and adamant with finding the truth and then expressing that truth to others, which is a pretty great thing.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it seems mostly positive.
Mostly positive. Yeah. Mostly positive. I mean, anything can be, offset by other aspects in the chart, of course. But yeah, generally speaking, these people are going to have a lot of strong willpower and power of persuasion, whether they use that for good or ill. But generally with the trine, it'll be for good. Generally. Ideally.
Yeah. Maybe have a confidant to call you out on things.
Right.
If you're,
and if they would even listen, because this is definitely not necessarily the kind of person who is going to be reined in very easily. So we just have to kind of hope that they're putting it towards something good. But they can be very successful at investigating other people's talents, handling other people's resources, managing other people's money, and expanding anything that they touch in the realms of power, success, influence, publishing, or even the media. If you are someone who has this aspect, definitely look into what you're interested in and how can you expand it, especially right now when this transit is going to be exact for a few weeks in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a beneficial aspect and indicating potential for success through strategic vision and ambition. And like, how do you harness this aspect's energy for transformation and empowerment?
Yeah. I mean, I think we all could benefit probably from writing things down, having goals. And then I say this as someone who does not like to write down goals. I like to write down lists as a Virgo, but the goals is a big Jupiter word. Yeah, I mean, definitely have like a 5-year plan if that's the kind of thing you do.
Vision boards?
Vision boards, that would be great for sure. And think about what you're curious about and what you can do to learn more about it and then to sort of shine a spotlight on it and bring it to light for other people. And if you're having this transit happen to you, if you have Jupiter in Gemini, for example, and Pluto is going to be making a trine to it or whatever, this might be a time when you're motivated to take control of your life's direction and creating a space where you can actually use your personal power for growth and change. You may have outgrown a situation or environment in your life and you need to supercharge your transformation and just go off in a whole nother direction. This could be a great time to do that. The keywords for this kind of transit are radical growth, intense metamorphosis, boundless confidence, plumbing the depths, shedding your limitations, growing your ambitions, taking big challenges and bold moves towards opportunities for growth and the beneficial use of power.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, exactly. So it's interesting too. A few more keywords are you might feel an enhanced need for spiritual meaning, higher connections or interconnectedness. And if you're a spiritual person already who believes in coincidences or synchronicities, you may have a field day with this transit if this is happening to you. So make time for self-reflection, meditation, journaling, or doing something, as we said, vision boards that puts you in tune with your inner voice and whatever the divine means to you. So share your vulnerabilities with others, make connections with them, try to bring others on board with whatever your mission is. And I'm picturing that great For All Mankind show that I love, which is between seasons right now. I'm so looking forward to the next season to come back because this is really it fires all those kind of space exploration and big projects and that kind of thing.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like your explanation of all of this and all of your examples. It just really drives home that this is a good opportunity to, if you were waiting for a sign to,
totally.
This is it. Sit down and actually write out what you're looking for and what you want to achieve and how that kind of looks, because it seems like the stars are aligning in your favor for this moment in particular.
Right,
for
sure.
Might as well take advantage of it.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. And if this is someone, if you have this in your chart already, this is just, it's bubbling under the surface and it's coming to a fore, and you can definitely harness, even though it's something that's in your chart. If this is coming up now and you're listening to this in June of 2024, this is all the more reason to make your dreams a reality.
Love it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So let's talk about some celebrity examples.
Yes.
I'll leave the dark ones for last because I don't want to just do a mic drop right at the beginning of the list, but we've got a couple of great examples. Lady Gaga.
Excellent.
Kanye West.
Okay.
Just big personalities here. Margot Robbie. RuPaul. Amazing. Michael Keaton. I'm seeing a lot of superheroes here. Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Nelson Rockefeller. Tina Turner. Boris Johnson, and Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
I love my favorite comedian. And two of the darker examples, which is like, don't do it this way, Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay.
Yes. Also, interestingly, Rose McGowan has this aspect, and I think it's interesting that she was the one who sort of was one of the voices that was spearheading the mission against Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that they both have this aspect in their chart.
That's
so
cool.
It's like,
let's psychoanalyze that,
right?
What?
I mean, it's almost like it's like the kryptonite that has to destroy Superman comes from the same planet that nothing else can. It's almost like it took.
Dang, that gave me goosebumps.
Jupiter trine Pluto to take down a Jupiter trine Pluto who had used it for evil. Although he just has conviction overturned. So I don't know. I can't really speak to that so much. But he's old. He's over. It's anyway.
But back to Linda Carter. Just recently I came across this little fact that her stunt double, Jeannie Epper, Miss Epper, she just passed away at the age of 83. And,
83.
and like I've been seeing like pictures of both of them like side by side, and it's kind of funny how it came up today as well. But Linda Carter's
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Linda Carter's still alive. Just
yeah. No, it's just a stunt double.
Just a stunt double. Yeah. But made her look really good.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thanks for all your hard work, Miss Epper.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was wondering if she was the one in that video that I saw recently where.
She's skateboarding?
Yeah.
Yes, that is her.
Okay, that's hilarious.
I know, right? Which is just so funny that you brought that up. And it's just been on my mind.
I think I might have just seen it on Instagram or something. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Uh-huh.
That's a great place to wrap this episode.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the explanations. And again, whether you're curing baldness or you're trying to
take us to Mars.
Or take us to Mars. I was going to say it'd be funny to say like justice for left-handed giraffes or something, but
that
anyway,
too.
Whatever it is that your cause
left cloven hoofed.
Do they have they must suffer with it was something. Imagine. Yeah, just don't forget about the little guys.
Yes, definitely. And don't trap anyone in a bathroom. Whatever you do. Just saying, don't try to eat people. Don't.
Oh, okay.
Don't.
Oh, I see where this is. I see. Okay, I'm like blocking things out of my memory.
Exactly. Who? What? No.
Anyway. That's Jupiter trine Pluto.
Yeah, and if you have found value in this episode, please feel free to share it with anyone. Come to Spotify, or you can actually now get these episodes on YouTube, and you can just play them in the background.
Wait, is there video? I didn't dress up for this.
No, not yet, but we will be doing our 100th episode shortly, and that will be on video. So once in a while, we're going to drop a video episode.
Yeah. Arwynne, congratulations, 100.
I know, who knew?
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing. So it's thanks to all of you, all of our wonderful listeners, and we just keep climbing in the numbers, and excellent. This has been great. Thank you so much for joining me. And thanks for listening, and see you next time, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for getting this far through the episode. I just want to take a moment to tell you about the two main options of my astrology services. So the first one is coaching. If you are an aspiring astrologer, and by that I mean someone who's perhaps a hobbyist astrologer or someone who's learning astrology or a student, or you've got a few books and you've been doing it for a while, but perhaps you need a little bit of help to bring it all together, then maybe getting some astrological coaching from me would be the answer for you. The astrology coaching I offer is a 1-hour session on Zoom, and it's tailored to answer your particular questions. For example, if you have issues with natal chart readings, we can go there. Or if you're having problems working with your forecasting, we can go there. Or even basic astrology stuff, or even getting yourself organized for your astrology business. The idea is that astrological coaching will answer your particular questions. It's tailored specifically to you and where you are in your astrological journey. And I'm happy to help you out with some guidance about how you can get going, what to focus on, and what to dismiss. So that would be the astrological coaching for people trying to learn astrology. The second astrological service I offer is consultations. So this is for someone who perhaps doesn't know anything about astrology, but they just want to have their chart read or get their chart done. Call it what you will. So once more, this is a 1-hour consultation over Zoom. I will interpret your chart, tell you about the main features, tell you about where the energy is flowing, and all the rest of what is entailed in a thorough natal chart interpretation. I can also add in some forecasting in there too, bearing in mind we only have 1 hour. So just in summary, I've got coaching for people who want to learn astrology, and I've got consultations for those who want to get an astrology reading done. I'm Alison Price from Starzology.com. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.